Well, this is something different that I'm doing. Normally, this would be me talking about some sort of credit cards within a credit card video that is on a credit card channel, but instead we're doing something different. Instead, I'm going to be talking about YouTubers that talks about credit cards and makes credit card videos for their respective credit card channels. So why am I doing these videos? Well, because I have been noticing a pattern of sorts, and that is because of the whole Bilt 2.1 fiasco. A lot of YouTubers are taking sides in terms of whether you should mess with Bilt 2.1 or not mess with Bilt 2.1. And what I'm seeing in the comment section below is a lot of viewers are easily convinced to do whatever it is that the YouTuber says. Now, granted, not all, maybe not even most, but there are some of those who watch these videos and will say, oh, he makes a lot of sense. She makes a lot of sense. And it's like, no. Well, I'm not saying these YouTubers are bad at what they do or that they lie or that they're mistaken. No, far from it. But what I am saying is this. Just because you watch one video, that does not mean you should just go with what they say, with that one specific YouTuber says, and just make your financial decisions that way. That's not what I'm saying at all, not even close. So, basically, we're talking about the good and the bad of why you should, or maybe should not, listen to just one YouTuber. Even if that one YouTuber is myself. Let's get on with it. Okay, so here we go. Again, this is a very different video because I'm not talking about credit cards or strategies in terms of using your points and miles and things like that. No, we talk about YouTubers who are in this credit card space. Now, before we go deep into this, let me make this very, very clear. This is not me throwing out any shades against any other YouTubers. This is not me taking jabs or throwing shots at any other YouTuber. That is not what this video is about at all, because I personally don't see anything that other YouTubers have done that make me feel some sort of animosity towards them. Granted, there's this one YouTuber who would tell you, don't listen to any other YouTuber, just listen to me. Those types of folks, it's like, no. Like, no, you just shove them out the window. Because right off the bat, that alone is bad advice right there. But aside from YouTubers like that, and again, I only know of one like that, but we're not going to mention any names. We're not going to throw any shade. But nevertheless, outside of that one YouTuber, everybody else, I'm not mad at or anything like that. But at the same time, you do need to know, hey, just because this one person said it, doesn't mean you should roll with it. So let's talk about that. Relying on YouTubers. So there's pros and cons to this. But the thing that you want to realize is you need to do more research. You need to do more research. So you need to watch multiple videos. You need to hit up Reddit. You need to hit up forums. You need to do your Google searches. And even within those YouTube videos, go to the comment section because people leave their experiences. They voice their views. They voice their opinions about whatever it is that that video is about. And in some cases, they'll go off topic. But that's another story for another day. But nevertheless, do more research. That's what I'm talking about here. So why did I say this? Because there are some YouTubers, not all, not most, but some that show favoritism, and there's not a lot of optimism when it comes to what they're talking about in regards to certain credit cards, certain ecosystems, certain banks, and certain credit card companies. For example, there are some YouTubers, and there's one that I had in mind, but again, I'm not going to mention any names, that are high on the Bilt cards. But at the same time, they don't talk about the negatives about Bilt. So, for example, did you know that you can only get one Bilt card? It's not like you get two or all three of them. Again, you don't need all three. You really don't need the blue card. But nevertheless, you can only get one card. That's it. Did you also know that there was a limit on the point accelerator feature? Because I've seen some videos talk about, so, oh, with the Bilt cards, you're going to get X amount of points. And I'm like, based off of what? If you're going based off the point accelerator, then you know that's not forever, right? You know there's like a time limit for that. And not to mention, you're going to use the point accelerator 5 times per year, which is an odd number. I think it should be 6, but that's me. That's another story for another day again. But nevertheless, it's not like it's infinite to the point where whatever card that you think about getting, whether it's the Obsidian or the Palladium card, will instantly be better than the gold card from American Express or the Capital One Finch X. Because it's like, yeah, those points rewards will be slightly better or be the same, but it's not forever. It's temporary. So do they mention that? No. Or at the very least, not the majority of YouTubers that I have seen anyway that trying to hype up this point accelerator fiasco. Oh, and here's another good example. Did you know that you will not get any Bilt points nor Bilt cash if you use any Bilt cards towards gift cards and tax payments? That's interesting because, like I said in my last video, I do know of one person who used their credit card to pay taxes. There's YouTubers who use credit cards to pay taxes. And if you're doing that, but yet you're not being rewarded with Bilt points or Bilt cash, that's kind of a letdown, a major letdown if I do say so myself. But then again, the individuals, the YouTubers who are high on Bilt, they don't mention stuff like that. Why? Well, there's a few reasons why, but again, we're not going to get into that. Well, we won't get into that, but the thing that we will get into is another reason why you shouldn't rely on just one YouTuber or just YouTubers in general, and that's because YouTubers may make mistakes. Did you know that if you decide not to switch over from Bilt 1.0 to Bilt 2.0 or Bilt 2.1 in this case, and you let your old Bilt card convert over to the Wells Fargo autograph card, which is a great card by the way, your old Bilt points that you got when you had that Bilt 1.0 card will remain with Bilt. Your Bilt account will remain intact. Did you know that? But meanwhile, Google AI at one point in time said otherwise. But if you were to look that up now, Google AI is now intact, they're now correct, and they would say the opposite of what they once said. Now granted, that was a Google AI era, not a YouTuber era, but that just shows that, any type of research could provide you with some mistakes that resource have given you. And that goes for YouTubers as well. So keep all of that in mind. Also, keep in mind that this as well, and I said this on my very first video on the channel, there's a possibility that even I may make a mistake here and there. I also said this in my very first video that, some of the information that I give to you may be relevant, may be on point at that exact moment when that video dropped, but a year from now, 2 years from now, heck, even 2 weeks after the video drop, that information could be relevant because of changes that might be made or a loophole that one of you guys may even find and that make me go, oh, really? That exists? That's a good idea. Another reason why you shouldn't just rely on just one YouTuber or a certain amount of YouTubers is the fact that their point of views and their lifestyle is just different from yours. For example, Spencer Johnson. I said we won't mention any names, but that's in a negative sense. But in this case, Spencer Johnson, he openly admit that his style of living is at a certain point, and his style of living is, quite frankly, more than likely different from yours. I know it's sure as heck different from mine, so when he talk about his credit card strategies, what works for him and stuff like that, that's because it fits his lifestyle. And wherever it is that his lifestyle is, might not be yours. It sure as heck ain't mine, but it might not be yours. Now, am I saying, oh, just because your lifestyle is different, stop watching Spencer Johnson? No, because he still provides useful information. He still provides information from his point of view that may make you stop and think and go, wait a minute, that's actually a good point. Maybe I should look into this more and see where this could get me. So his point of view is more likely different than yours. But if y'all had the same point of view, that is a huge resource for you to use when it comes to you navigating through this credit card journey. Another example is that another YouTuber said, or believes rather, that most people spend wherever their rent is, they also spend 75% of wherever their rent costs on stuff that doesn't involve rent and mortgage. And I'm looking at that video, I'm going, where's your facts? Where's your evidence behind that? Because I firmly don't believe that, and I'm not speaking from my experience. No, not even. I'm just saying that in my honest opinion, the majority of people who are trying to get into the credit card game are not trying to put extra spin just so they can get points on rent. They're not going to do that. So because of his philosophy, that led me to believe that, his style of living is more of a class territory, whereas the majority of people who are in the credit card game is not a part of that class. They're more middle class. So I have no clue what information that he was using when he made that statement, but in my opinion, that's just not correct. That's really not correct. And the one thing that YouTubers may do is they may tell you what you should do regarding credit cards, despite their point of views potentially being different from yours. They don't mention, hey, I live like this is my lifestyle, this is how I operate on a daily basis, so that might not be the same as yours, But we're not going to compare my lifestyle to yours. I'm just going to assume we all have the same lifestyle. So wherever cars I get, you should get. Wherever cars I recommend, you should roll with it. And I'm like, no, that's dangerous. That's dangerous advice because, again, how you live your life, how you go about your business on a day-to-day basis, how your finances works for you is different from everybody else. That's another thing that makes us individuals, because as individuals, we're all different. We all different. Race, gender, locations, settings, backgrounds, family, we all different. So for one person to say, yo, you should get this card because it's going to benefit you like it benefit me, or something similar like that, no, that's dangerous advice right there. So as viewers, you need to be smart and realize, okay, this YouTuber have a different lifestyle than mine. So while I should not take his words in terms of what I should do regarding this credit card seriously, but the information that they're providing about that credit card might be useful. So you need to look at these YouTube videos like that, even my YouTube videos. And on that note, you should still watch YouTube videos. And I mentioned this earlier, but the fact is that their point of view, their lifestyle is different from yours, or they might be the same. Either way, you should still watch it. I just talked about why. Another reason why you should watch YouTubers is because they may cover something that other YouTubers may miss. So, for example, when I talk about Bilt 2.1 and all the positives and negatives about it, and ultimately I was saying, yo, I'm not going to get this card. In my honest opinion, even though I didn't make this clear in my last video, I will admit that. But to the general masses, the general public, the majority, I firmly believe that you should not get any of the Bilt cards as constructed right now. But did you know that Bilt offered 5 times the points for 5 days with the Palladium card once that card first came out? I didn't know that. And the reason for that was because they as in Bilt that is, made a lot of mistakes when it came to people getting the cards. Speaking of, I didn't know that Bilt 2.1 had a lot of issues. Like, for example, people not getting their cards in the mail. Bilt 1.0 owners not getting the same credit limit on their new cards. Bilt made a lot of mistakes that even I didn't mention in my Bilt video. And that just adds on to why you shouldn't mess with Bilt, in my honest opinion. But again, if you understand the risk, if you understand how Bilt 2.1 works, if you still believe that you can make it work for your lifestyle, go for it. Pick whichever card you want. Again, you only get one, and go for it. And another reason why you should watch YouTube videos is really just to go to the comment section below. Not just in my videos, but in all the videos. Because like I said earlier, there's useful stuff in there. Because it's not just YouTubers giving you a point of view. It's people watching the videos that could potentially give you their point of view. They may say, hey, I experienced this. Or hey, this strategy is cool and all, but I tried this strategy and it works better. So you never know what information you can find in the comment section of these YouTube videos. Although, in my Bilt video, I'm currently in a debate with a user. You know, we going at it in terms of how I approach in Bilt 2.1 and how I'm telling people not to get the cards or any of the cards, things of that nature. But nevertheless, it's just a harmless debate. Nobody's calling each other out of the names. Nobody telling each other mama jokes or anything like that. It's just two adults basically sharing their point of views. I'm not mad that they're coming at me in the manner that they are, which is, again, not offensive. So I have no beef with the person. We just having a debate. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So, with all that said, you're probably wondering, which YouTubers should you not watch? And I'll be honest, that is not a valid question. That is not a valid question, and that is not a question that I'm going to answer. Now, the question that I will answer is, which YouTubers should you watch? Without question. Like, straight up guarantee? Okay, I can give you some right here. Well, for starters, I mentioned their name already, Spencer Johnson. Spencer Johnson will give you their point of view in terms of what cards works for him. And you can compare his lifestyle to yours to see if it works. But whether if it works or not, he still provides useful information in terms of these credit cards and things of that nature. So Spencer Johnson is one. The king, in my opinion, is Daniel Braun. Daniel Braun is the guy to watch, in my opinion. Because while his lifestyle, I want to say his lifestyle is similar to Spencer Johnson's, he have a more wide open mindset. He's more realistic in terms of his viewers, whether or not they can relate to him or not. I'm not saying Spencer Johnson don't do that, but with Spencer Johnson, he let you know straight up, he's coming clean. His lifestyle is like this, and while these cards will work for him, but he's not basically telling his viewers, hey, my lifestyle is like this, so you should get this. He's not doing that, but at the same time, he presenting you cards that work for him, not necessarily cards that potentially could work for the general masses, based on the videos that I have seen so far. I could be mistaken, but based on what I have seen so far, the cards that he's been reviewing and basically suggesting that works for him may not be work for you. But with Daniel Braun, he is actually acknowledging, hey, the general public may not like this card. The general public may not be rocking with this card. And he even said in his Bilt video, or one of his videos where he mentioned Bilt, that hey, the Bilt program is not good. And for the general public, it's not good for them. But at the same time, he's still going to get it because it worked for him. So either way, in my opinion, Daniel Braun is the king. Not just because of that, but because he was really one of the first ones that I discovered when I got into this whole credit card fiasco. And the information he provided has been really, really useful. Another guy to watch would be Ben Hodges. So Ben Hodges, he presents his thoughts on credit cards in a news story format, although it doesn't contain all the glamour and the glitz that a news anchor would have, whatever the case may be. But nevertheless, he does present news and rumors and things like that regarding the credit card game and what's going on within it. So that's another person I suggest you should watch. Another guy would be as Sebi with a lot of information on a lot of these credit cards and basically tell it like it is in terms of what to expect with these credit cards. Now, he doesn't necessarily, unless I'm mistaken, he doesn't necessarily talk about what he does with his credit cards for the most part. He's really keeping about what the credit card is and what it does. So Ask Sebi is another one. And then of course we gotta go with Uncle Luke's Points and Miles. We gotta go with the Unc right here, even though he's in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm in Michigan, go blue, but that's not story for another day. We gotta go with the Uncle right here. So he tell it like it is. He talk about what works for him, and very entertaining guy, if I do say so myself, who like to do this with his hands all the time. You know, he likes to do this. But nevertheless, you gotta give it up to Uncle Luke. And then we got Mark Reese. Mark Reese, he's actually very knowledgeable in terms of a lot of credit cards, and he does his research in terms of like what viewers are saying, what other people are experiencing, stuff like that. And it was because of him that I learned about all the mishap that Bilt 2.1 has been having that I failed to mention in my video. So he's the guy they gotta watch out for as well. Now, if I didn't name any YouTubers out there, like there's others out there that are very good and things of that nature, but if I didn't name them, I'm not throwing shades at them at all. I'm not saying don't watch them at all, because I watch a lot of them besides the ones that I named here. It's just that these are the ones that, in my opinion, stand out the most in terms of information that they present that is reliable, and they're not trying to shove their agendas down your throats or anything like that. So these are the individuals that I highly recommend you watch, along with myself. So that's gonna do it for this video. If you're watching this when this video drops, I will be in Cali. So if you're out in Cali, or to be more specific, Pasadena, then you know, come up and say hi. We can chat it up about credit cards and all that jazz. But I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Take care.